So I'm going to say it from the very outset of this video. I think Oleksandr Usyk is, without question, one of the greatest heavyweight boxers of all time. Without question, I think the guy's a phenomenon. Now, I didn't see the fight. I don't have pay-per-view, so I can't watch fights live. Hopefully, it'll be uploaded with good quality soon on YouTube. I believe it was a fifth round knockout of Daniel Dubois. I've no bad words about Daniel Dubois. I know he was running his mouth a bit yesterday, but I don't think I don't think he's a bad guy. I think he's a good boxer actually. He's a heavy hitter, but clearly he's not in the same class as Usyk. Um, Dubois, made big news when he defeated Anthony Joshua in a British record for fight attendance. 96,000 people, I believe it was, or 97,000 earlier this year. So, Dubois was getting some attention. But Oleksandr Usyk is phenomenal. I mean, this is a guy who is 38 years old, which in boxing terms, in life it's young, let's be clear. He's a year younger than me. Um, in life that's young, but in boxing that is relatively on the older end of things. Um, to come up from cruiserweight, so for non-boxing fans, that's the division just below heavyweight. And to basically clear the division is astonishing. And every time you think, okay, he got lucky, impressive, he got lucky. But no, this guy is the real deal. He is just phenomenal. I mean, he has beaten Anthony Joshua twice. He's beaten Tyson Fury twice. He's beaten Daniel Dubois twice. Um, I don't think Fury deserved a third fight at all. I think that would be a travesty. I think Joseph Parker deserves a shot. I would give it to him. Fury's an embarrassment. A few times in boxing history have I seen a fight that had a lot of potential and just squandered it with his antics, as Tyson Fury has. By contrast, Usyk is sportsmanlike. Humble's a word that gets thrown around a lot, but he carries himself well. And one can't ignore the fact that, this is a Ukrainian national fighting for his country at a time of some of its darkest stars. Usyk's literally been on the front line. I understand that President Zelensky has asked him to continue doing what he's doing as a morale thing. I'd actually compare it to what Joe Louis did for the United States during World War II. I mean, what a man. Oleksandr Usyk is such an inspiration. It's not perfect, no one is, but there may come a point where I'll say this right now. I don't want to see the day that he's beaten, because then people will try and diminish his legacy and try and say, no, it wasn't all that great after all. They should not forget what he's doing. This guy is a natural cruiserweight. Now, it's true that heavyweights have got bigger in the last 20 years. Usyk's actually of a similar frame to Muhammad Ali and heavyweights of the past. But still, he's come up from cruiserweight and he has cleared the division. And not, convincingly so. There was controversy over the last Dubois fight in Wrocław in Poland, but I just think that, for me, Usyk definitely goes beyond Van der Holyfield. Holyfield, of course, was also a cruiserweight that went up. David Haye was a cruiserweight that went up. But I don't think that Holyfield and Haye achieved what Usyk has achieved. And I put Holyfield above Haye. But no disrespect to Van der Holyfield, heart of a lion, great fighter. But I think Oleksandr Usyk really is very, very high up there. I mean, I've no problem at this point putting him in the top 10. It's a little premature to put him as the GOAT. Would I put him on par with Muhammad Ali or Joe Louis? Possibly not. But honestly, a few more wins, he might even be in that conversation. Because the man's 38 years old and he's went up from cruiserweight and he's clearing the division. What else does he need to do? I always feel the boxing world did not give Vladimir Klitschko his due. His fans did. But so many lists out there left out the great Vladimir Klitschko. Well, now we have another Ukrainian heavyweight champion, and I hope they don't treat him the same way. I hope Usyk gets his due. For me, as it stands, I would rank Usyk. I'm talking about all time here amongst heavyweights somewhere around seventh or eighth. Really, I think he's that good. Um, Top 10 without question. A bit premature to put him at the very top, but he's absolutely the best heavyweight of his generation. He's one of the best fighters, pound for pound, of the 21st century. As it stands, Canelo Alvarez is most people's pound for pound number one, and I don't have a major problem with that because Canelo's a phenomenal fighter as well. But considering what Usyk is doing within his division, I don't know. I wonder, is his achievement the greater? I'd have no problem with Oleksandr Usyk being the current pound for pound king. Um, I'll leave it there. But I just think I might comment more when I watch the fight. Um, Boxing News had an interesting take recently on how Usyk would fare against the all-time greats. Names like Ali and Lennox Lewis and George Foreman and others, Vladimir Klitschko, and then they had it about 50-50. They actually had Usyk beating about half of those guys. So the thing with Alexander Usyk is it's always, I think people kind of think, oh, he got lucky. But no, this guy is the real deal. He every time he just proves the critics wrong. He's phenomenal, and he's an inspiration. He carries himself well. He doesn't get into profanities or trash talking. He's cool as a cucumber. He's an inspiration. So yeah, Alexander Usyk. Something special even for someone like me who doesn't have pay per view. I can't watch this stuff live. It's something to be witnessing this if you're a boxing fan, to be witnessing greatness. And I just hope one day Alexander Usyk and Vladimir Klitschko are given their full due. Amongst the very best of all time. Absolutely. Like I said, it's a little premature to put him at the very, very top. For me, that's probably Joe Lewis, but I think he's in the conversation among the greatest of all time because he is literally proving the critics wrong every time. I hope the Fury trilogy doesn't go ahead. I don't think Tyson Fury deserves it. And if Fury happens to win that, he'll just run his mouth as if it's some great achievement, but it's not. Fury, you would think, would have won the first two fights. He's got the reach advantage. He's a bigger man. He's got great durability, but the thing I find really galling about Tyson Fury, he doesn't have the sportsmanship and humility to just admit you know, he lost. And instead, he's digging himself deeper. He doesn't deserve a trilogy, and now he's mocking Usyk, with crude images. I won't even get into it. I just think Fury's tarnishing his legacy with his antics. And I do think Tyson Fury has achieved things in the ring, but it's tarnishing his legacy, in my opinion. Now, I know Lennox Lewis recently said that Usyk isn't a real heavyweight. I hope Lewis gives Usyk his due. I hope Lewis showed some respect now. Usyk has done what he has to do. He's the best of his generation. He's one of the best of all time. That's all there is to it. And I do think, I'll say one last thing just in passing. I honestly think if his name was Mike Jones or Dave Smith, he's the unified world heavyweight champion, he would be better known. I think it's a disgrace he was left off the time 100, quite frankly. I'm not just saying that because I happen to follow boxing. It's because of the significance, the fact that he's a Ukrainian fighter at this time. I don't say that every heavyweight champion should be in the Time 100. That is the Time magazine's list of the 100 most influential people in the world. But I think surely Alexander Usyk has earned his place. He should at least be in next year's list. And like I said, no boxer, even the greats, are indestructible. There might come a day when Usyk is beaten. But I hope it doesn't come too soon, because then people will jump on it to say, oh, he was fake, try and diminish his legacy. But he has already achieved a phenomenal amount. Whatever happens, if Usyk loses his next fight, he has achieved greatness, in my opinion.